Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah. I hear him chat from the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the Wake up, let out the sheets. We came for one, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, better tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Do we start with Michael Bublé on mushrooms, or do we start with the parody song? I missed the Sports Whisperer, Stugotz. I have not heard from the Sports Whisperer in a long time. I don't know whether you have polluted your vocal cords with cigarettes
I have
too
not.
much.
I could still pull off a Sports Whisperer. Perhaps I will have one at the Circa Pool Thursday or Friday. How about that?
Really?
All right, fill me in on that one, please.
Perhaps.
I know our show
is doing a lot of lifting there.
I know our show generally hasn't planned, but there's never been a show more planned than this one. And that includes the time that we were on the air for 24 consecutive hours. So, yeah, let me know. We have tried workshop and Sports Whisperers in the past, and it just never materialized. I do love that bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have a parody song to celebrate it that we're going to play in a moment. But how excited or not excited are Jessica and Lucy about Radio Row? Because Stugotz has top 5, rules of Radio Row?
Yeah,
tips.
for the youngsters out there, you know? I like to teach the youngsters.
Jessica's she is not a novice here. She's not a rookie. She's a veteran of Radio Row.
I am not looking to teach Jess. I'm not looking to teach Lucy. It's just for all the young producers out there. That's all.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
Yes.
We'll get to that in a second as well. Who are you going to introduce us, Jessica? I have not seen this animal before.
What are you talking about?
It was a bag. It's the newest bag by Gucci. Designed. It's an actual dog, but I have not seen that dog. Are you adopting a dog like Lucy? Lucy was a wild success. She got Zeke adopted. Is that what you're doing, or is that your dog? Is that a nemesis to Willow?
This is actually a vicious guard dog that I brought in because I heard Amin was going to be in today. So she's already bit him a couple times. We'll see how the day ends.
But does she have a name? Does she belong?
Sasha.
Does she belong to somebody?
I was gonna try to go the whole show with pretending that the dog wasn't here and try to trick you and make you think you were hallucinating the dog, but I couldn't. I didn't want to do it to you. I couldn't stick with the bit.
Okay, but I still don't have answers to my questions. There's a
Sasha.
dog.
Not one
She's
of
a rescue.
Yeah, she's a rescue?
Yeah.
Did you rescue her?
Yeah.
Whoa, 2 dogs.
She's a baby.
2 dogs.
Couple of
She's
dogs
7.
cutting it up.
Willow is already feeling ostracized. She's going to town on a Flanagan's Cup over here.
Is Willow jealous?
Yeah, she's taking out her frustrations on Big Papa Joe.
All right, let's hear this parody song. I've only heard the first little bit of it, and then I turned it off because I wanted to hear it live. So let's hear what we've got here.
Psst. Bill, it's Tom. Listen up. Listen, Belichick, let me whisper in your ear. Tell you something that you might like to hear. You had a nice career, but the end looking sad. Mind if I tell you about this plan I had? My home's been gaining on me way too fast. Surely as a coach that you should get past. I can play at least another year or 2. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm calling up Woody and we're going to the Jets. Twice a year we could beat the Patriots. We're kicking both Salah and Aaron to the curb. I'm calling up Gronk and we're flipping up the bird. Never really wanted Greg Olsen's spot. Wanted him to know how much cash I got. You needed me, Bill. I'll always be the boss. After we're done, you can coach lacrosse. You better listen up. You better listen up to recap. We're gonna partner up. We're gonna partner up. Hey, Bill, you better listen up. You better listen up to recap. We're gonna partner up. We're gonna
I think there's a degree of difficulty on singing that way that sounded more than just breathless, sounded like there was a lack of oxygen.
That was my sports whisperer for the Circa Pool Thursday or Friday.
Oh, it was taken.
I'll have to improvise.
That's too bad.
Right.
That's too bad.
I could send Brady and Belichick anywhere. I mean,
you really could.
I know.
Willow is going to town on
The
that
disrespect.
cup. Chris Cody, I can imagine. I thought of you last night as comeback player of the year. Tua Tagovailoa, voted by his peers the comeback player of the year. His peers. You didn't know this, Mike.
What?
Mike, you were not aware that there are multiple comeback player of the year awards. You were not aware.
Over Baker?
That is right. Tua Tagovailoa, voted by his peers the comeback player of the year.
Which is the official one, though?
I don't know.
Oh.
The one that they give away at the award show, hosted by Keegan-Michael Key, I think.
How many of them are there? Because DeMar...
Is it Rob Riggle this year? It's usually like one of 4 guys.
Eggs. Yeah.
DeMar Hamlin won the other one, right? How many comeback players of the year are there? Flacco said
Flacco better get one of them, and Baker better get the other.
No, Flacco said it should go to DeMar Hamlin, right?
Well, Flacco just said, I'm only coming back from being old, and I'm only coming back from not being able to find a team for a couple of months. So he's saying he doesn't deserve it,
Right.
but
I mean, Tua did come back from attempted murder.
there is that, but DeMar Hamlin came back from actual death.
I mean, Baker came back from Carolina.
Kind of like that.
But I thought of Chris Cody yesterday because I imagined him watching the precise passing skills drill and getting mad at Tua, just saying, do something other than finish last. Just don't finish last. Don't be the worst scorer.
You're the accuracy guy, okay? You can't move. Okay, everyone says, what can this guy do? Accurate. And CJ Stroud just made you look like poop. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Now, a point was brought up to me that these things moving were not moving as fast as Tyreek Hill. So, maybe it was just, weird for him to see this slow thing coming across the middle.
Mike E.A. brought that point up to Chris. He sat in for the first segment of God Bless Football, but that is a good point because he's throwing to targets that are way slower than he normally throws to.
You say it's a good point, Stugotz, but all it reminds me of is of the single greatest explanation for a loss that I've ever heard. After Jesse Armstead of the University of Miami, after they lost to BYU and Ty Detmer, who went on to win the Heisman Trophy, his explanation was their receivers were too slow. We were running past them in coverage. We were too fast, and they were throwing.
I'm the king of excuse making for the Canes. That one takes the cake.
It's the greatest one I've ever heard.
We were too fast.
I'm not gonna lie. I watched all of the Pro Bowl last night for some reason.
No.
I don't know why. It was on, and I just kind of got mesmerized by it, and I left it on. And so when I first turned it on, they had just started the skills thing with the quarterbacks, and I was watching Gardner Minshew go. And I texted my friends, my NFL friend group chat, and I was like, oh my God, Gardner Minshew's missing all these throws. This is actually so bleak. Why is he even here? And then the next person that went, I think was either Baker or Tua, and I was like, oh, never mind. They suck too. This must just actually. Okay, Baker didn't suck.
Baker was
and
good.
CJ Stroud was also good, but neither of them.
Because he is good.
The whole time I was watching it, I was like, this doesn't look like they need to make this look harder because the entire time I was watching, I was like, I feel like I could hit that 10-point bucket. It's just right there in the middle of the field. But it must have actually been very difficult because even quarterbacks, like CJ Stroud, I shouldn't say it that way, but you know what I mean. CJ Stroud did a good job. So I do want to give them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt there.
Look, I criticized Tua here, and I'm half kidding, but there's also half of me that is if you're the guy that can't move, you need to shine in that competition.
Right.
I am half serious about this. He was in it and you could tell he was having fun. It's dude, your whole fan base wants to trade you right now. You need to make a statement.
Minshew made the Pro Bowl?
Well, let's talk about this for a second because you said you were half serious, and I'd like to push you to more than half serious. You're being aggressive when you say the whole fan base wants to trade him. That's not true at all.
Oh, Dan, he's being serious.
I think he's pretty close to being serious, that it pissed him off, that he simply just – man, it's not that you needed Tua to win. You just needed him to not be the worst.
He was goofy about it too. And I get it. He was just in the mode of, I'm not taking this serious. But it's just I don't know. I wanted to, as ridiculous as it sounds, I genuinely wanted to see more out of him.
I will add, after he got interviewed by Ryan Clark, and he said that I guess Eli Manning, it was like they do like an Eli Manning versus Peyton Manning thing. I'm telling you, I got really into this last night, Dan. I just wish I didn't know any of this, but I do. And he said that Eli Manning, like the NFC team, was trying to mess with him and telling him like not to throw it.
Excuses.
So, I mean, maybe it's an excuse, Chris, but I just, maybe you're right. Maybe he should have taken it more seriously given the narrative on Tua, but other quarterbacks also didn't do very well at it.
Chris is right, though. This is Tua's Super Bowl. It is. I mean, he can't run. He can't throw on the run. All he can do is hit you in the numbers and stride.
If he goes out there and wins that accuracy competition by 15 points, everyone is talking today about, hey, Tua put on a show last night,
Lucy,
and instead you're not even talking about him.
Lucy, you seem, and you should be distracted because I can't believe we've talked this long about the Pro Bowl, but you seem distracted. You don't seem like you're in any way interested with what's happening around here.
Well, a few things. One, they've been playing Charmed on this TV every day the entire week, and I've never seen Charmed before, but I'm very interested in what's happening. But then we have a visitor, a guest, who's holding up a Zagacki sign. I don't know where this person is.
Not
I
a
don't know
guest.
who
It's just
this
a fan
person
of the
is.
show standing in the street. They used to do this at the Clevelander all the time. This is the first time this has happened
You
here.
made it sound like TRL in '99. Occasionally, somebody would hold up a sign.
I never saw that.
It happened all the time at the Clevelander. There would be someone outside with a sign. But this person is standing where? On the street? On Biscayne Boulevard?
I hope not in the street.
I think
Okay,
he's
there we go.
explaining to someone right now what he's doing.
Okay, he's on the median there. So, Lucy, yes, you have not. How is Charmed, though? Charmed Soundless is fun to watch?
Yeah, because there's a lot of magic going on, but I don't know what the magic is. I don't know who the good guys are. I don't know who the bad guys are.
I'll tell you what was magic, Lucy. Last night they did a competition where the skill position players, they did like a who can catch the most footballs from like the jugs machine, but it's like a punt return thing.
Right.
And then you had to keep the footballs, so you catch one, and then you hold on to one, and then you catch two, and now you have two, and then you catch three. Now you're holding three footballs. It was crazy. Miles Killebrew from the Steelers won. He caught 5 footballs while he was holding. It was. Dan, it was electric. I was so locked
Jesse,
in.
you okay?
You're revving.
I had a big iced coffee this morning. I haven't been here all week. I feel so alive. There's Formula One news, Dano. It's crazy.
Yeah, she has an F1 minute, and I don't think she actually has to change her delivery whatsoever. Yesterday on Charmed on Mute, there was a sex scene between Alyssa Milano and Ken Marino.
Oh, wow.
And mid-stroke, she had a vision that Ken Marino got shot in the head.
Mid-stroke.
It was
Mid-stroke
crazy.
racing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Mid-stroke.
It is so distracting. I've been watching Charmed the whole week. I can't believe I've even been able to say anything.
Jessica, do the takes back up on you during the week if you don't get a couple of shows in, a couple of microphones to
watch the Pro Bowl,
So, but it's the Pro Bowl is sort of what is a diuretic? Imodium is the opposite of a diuretic. The Pro Bowl has unleashed your ability
It's
to
a probiotic.
the of takes.
hey there.
Pro Bowl biotic.
Yeah, I mean, Dan, it's been a long week. There's been a lot of basketball games. Notre Dame beat UConn on Saturday. I didn't get to talk about that. And then the Iowa played the other night. And there's just a lot of stuff going on. There was big Formula One news with Mario Andretti and then Lewis Hamilton. And the Pro Bowl happened. And then the Knicks won their 15th out of the last 17 games. It was crazy. Jalen Brunson's crying in the garden. They're chanting MVP. He got his eye poked out. Still came back in and won it. Everyone on the Knicks is hurt. Now they play the Lakers on Saturday. It was just a crazy weekend.
You know what? Let's just segue right into the F1 minute. Let's get some of this out. Let's see if we can get Jessica to a stable speed here. People are listening to this at 1.5, 2.0. It's crazed. So now let's just escalate matters. Let's throw everything into the sky.
No, sip my coffee real quick. Ooh, it's been a while, Dan. No race, no problem. It's always silly season in Formula One. 2024 began with shocking news that team principal Gunther Steiner is out at Haas, and they look like a bunch of fucking vankas. Le Batard Show regular Baby Lando said land yes to a new contract extension with McLaren. And the biggest news of the week, Formula One finally announced that they are rejecting Mario Andretti and Cadillac's joint bid to join the sport as Formula One's 11th team in 2025. But wait, what's that? Is that Enzo Ferrari's music? Yesterday, in a move that shocked the motorsport world, the Stan accounts and Toto Wolff himself, the 103-time race-winning, 197-time podium finishing, record-breaking Mercedes-AMG driving Formula One legend, the greatest of all time, depending on who you ask, 7-time world champion, Sir Lewis Hamilton announced after 11 years he's leaving Mercedes and joining Ferrari in 2025.
Mamma mia, it's hammer time!
That was excellent. You didn't appear rusty at all. She mentioned in the middle of that, Lucy, a supportive friend always.
So proud of her.
How did your friend date go?
I think it went well. It was a little slow. So there was a lot of traffic, so we got there late, but we went and walked with her dog. She was very nice, and I think we're going to hang out again, in 2 weeks.
A second date, huh?
Yeah, I'm very
A
excited.
second friend
I
date.
think we're going to go to an estate sale.
Right. How many days before you're officially friends, though?
I think it takes I think it depends on the way that the friend date goes. Like sometimes I'll be an hour in and I'm like, yeah, you're my best friend forever now. So good luck with that. I think it's probably 3 or 4. Once it's one of those things where we're not really trying to get to I'm not asking where are you from? How many siblings do you have? Where it's just we text about something unrelated.
So
that's a good sign.
Did you say that you were late or they were late to this
We were
date?
both very late.
Okay,
so I think it worked out really
if
nicely.
one of you was late, that's a bit of a red flag.
Who sends the first text?
I'm usually pretty proactive in sending the first text.
Right.
So
The text after the hangout is the most important.
Yes.
yeah,
text, though.
so
Yes, the
I
first
told
one.
her, I was like, hey, I'm in Vegas all next week. And she's like, that's so exciting. That's so fun. And I was like, great. If I make it back, we'll hang out. And she was like, okay, yeah. And I told her about my estate sales and the Paw Venture stuff I do. And she was like, that sounds so fun. I've actually looked into doing the Paw Venture stuff. So we might do that together. So I'm hoping it goes well. I'm also hanging out with Lisa in 2 weeks.
Nice.
It is tough to be this popular.
Congratulations on almost having a couple of friends.
It's huge. It is so, it's amazing.
You also gave the name to something that I want to start promoting here because you're doing a good thing and you are rescuing dogs because the one you were with last time, by endorsing what a sweet animal it was, you got it adopted. And I want to just explain to people a little more what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how they can help with this.
So I don't know if I was officially the reason this dog got adopted. I don't want to take credit for that. I also don't care. The dog got adopted. This is amazing. I am so happy for Zeke. The shelter is reaching out to the family that adopted Zeke to send us some pictures so we can see him in his new home. The program is named Paw Venture, which is kind of stupid, but whatever. So you can just Google Miami-Dade Paw Venture, and someone from the shelter reached out to me, and they were like, hey, it's super important that we tell people that this Paw Venture program is great because it gets dogs out of the shelter, but a big reason why it's so important is if you're taking a dog for a walk or you're going to a dog park, you're able to observe this dog's behavior outside of the shelter. And when you go back to drop the dog off, you have to answer a little questionnaire just about how they behaved, what were they like around other dogs, other people. And that is such valuable information for the shelter in getting these dogs adopted and kind of learning what type of home would be best for them. It's a free program. It's super fun. It's super easy. It's like 1 day of your life. It's amazing. I couldn't recommend it enough. I felt a little nervous for the friend date yesterday because I found out about Zeke getting adopted right before. I don't know what happened to me. I was just bawling because I was so happy for Zeke. And I was like, we did a good thing. And so I showed up like a little puffy because I had been crying so much. But I don't think she noticed. So this is an awesome program. I hope we can do more in the show. I'd love to bring some dogs here so that you guys can kind of like interact with them as well and the fans can see it. This was the best. And I want to say, all of you said I was doing a bad thing. You are wrong. You are so wrong.
You got to get the wrong song.
Bad day for the haters, great day for Zeke.
All right, you got it. Great day for Lucy. Get the wrong song.
Tony?
I'm in a seat.
You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Oh, you're so wrong. You're so wrong.
3 things that have come up in the first 20 minutes that I want to get back to. One is Chris Cody saying that if one person shows up late, it's a red flag. Miami right now is so overpopulated that I can't get anywhere on time. I am late for everything. I'm a punctual person. I am late for everything because traffic everywhere has been made crazy. This must be happening to you guys as well. You can't
Not
get
to me.
you live in Orlando, so it doesn't happen to you. But it's impossible to get anywhere on time.
I was 30 minutes late last night. She was 30 minutes late as well. I left 10 minutes before I was supposed to leave, and I was going like 3 miles away. So it's so bad here. I lived in LA, and the traffic is way worse in Miami than it was in LA.
Yeah, people are just moving. They're flooding here from San Francisco and Miami. The other thing that you mentioned,
New York, you mean?
Yes, I'm sorry, New York. Thank you. The other thing that you mentioned, Jessica, is Jalen Brunson last night. That was legitimately moving. That is one of the best moments that the Knicks have had in 25 years. Jalen Brunson was left speechless by coming back against Indiana, scoring 40 points. They're chanting MVP. He's an all-star. And he was left speechless when asked a question he could not answer because he was about to cry, close to crying because of the amount of gratitude on him. He's made the Knicks matter.
He also got poked in the eye. So at first I was like, maybe his eye is watering because you could tell it was pink and like a little swollen. By the way, they didn't call a foul on that. Pacers guy like bopped him in the eye. Nothing happened. He was like on the floor. Like it was a pivotal moment in the game too. Pacers got a basket afterwards. Dan, it was crazy. So I was like, oh, maybe he's just like, his eye's a little puffy and he's tearing up. No, the whole crowd was chanting MVP, and the announcer or the interviewer asked him, like what it felt like basically to have this moment at the Garden, and he just like started choking up.
Let's
it was so special.
Let's play this sound right now.
Feel. Ooh. That was fun. That was fun. That was fun. The night started with you being named to your first All-Star game. Just talk about the journey you've been on and how it has reached this point now where you're on the Garden floor hearing MVP chants and you're going to the All-Star game. I mean, I got nothing to say. I got nothing to say. All right, then talk about your teammates because I know.
He's like, all right, you give me nothing, then talk about your teammates.
Poor Alan Hahn.
That's a bad situation to be in as the interviewer. I got nothing to say. Okay, just talk. Talk about things.
Been to Chick-fil-A lately? What do you like at Wendy's? I don't know. Say something.
They've won 9 straight. They're playing so well. Randall's out. He'll be out like 2 to 3 weeks. But I still don't think this team can make it to the NBA Finals.
Well, Embiid's hurt now, and it's fine. It doesn't even matter. They're relevant.
Yes.
They matter. They're obviously good. The trades, they've been improving for 2 or 3 years. But the other thing I wanted to circle back on, she mentioned Gardner Minshew. I believe he was the 11th choice for the Pro Bowl. Chris Cody, can you quickly put together for me a top 5 list of the worst Pro Bowlers that there have ever been?
Sure. I got it ready.
All right. Number 5.
OLI.
Wow.
Elvis Gerback.
Gerback had a year. He did. A couple of years, actually.
OLI. This one has a caveat. Jeff Saturday, on a year he got benched.
Fan vote?
Number 5, Matt Castle.
If you guys want to be mean about quarterbacks that you don't think deserve to be in the Pro Bowl making it, just imagine being a fan of a team that had 3 quarterbacks and none of them made it.
You stay tuned. Number 4, Gardner Minshew. Number 3, Derek Anderson.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. What is Gardner Minshew more? Is he a backup quarterback or a Pro Bowler?
Derek Anderson had a year. I mean.
Okay, but I'm assuming some of these guys had a year, Stugotz.
Well, Gerback did. He made the Pro Bowl.
I know, but that's
4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns.
Technically, to be on this list, you had to have had a year.
You've had to have been in the Pro Bowl. That's what the list is.
Has Minshew had a year?
And half of them had a year for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Number 2, Tyler Huntley. He was a backup.
That's right.
Really?
Never had a year.
Last year.
he had like 2 games.
Oh, that's right. Wasn't he like Baltimore's 4th quarterback?
No, he was their backup, but Lamar got hurt last year while he was doing the contract thing, and they ran out of options, so Tyler Huntley made the Pro Bowl last year.
You have a better one than that?
I mean, Jess kind of, it's a Jess one here. Number 1, Mitch Trubisky.
Oh, wow.
Did he have a year?
He did. They double doinked year. That was a good year. The Bears were good. They were relevant. Yeah,
And didn't he win like the Nickelodeon game MVP?
the NVP, I believe. I also heard Dan Nickelodeon is going to do the Super Bowl broadcast, and they're going to play SpongeBob's going to sing "Sweet Victory" before the Super Bowl. Oh my God! I'm
Slow
so
down!
excited!
Last night, the Lakers went into Boston as a 15-point underdog and took out what has been the Eastern Conference's best team and probably the best team in basketball this year. And after the game, Stugotz, Charles Barkley did something that made me uncomfortable. His criticism of the Celtics is that they are mentally weak, that they're a mentally weak team. And while I understand how someone arrives at that conclusion, I would be deeply insulted. And this happens a lot with players in the NBA, Stugotz, who are kind of tired of that show being the old heads talking about their way of doing business and doing that one where, hey, Jason Tatum, you're mentally weak. It's hugely insulting to say something about something like that on television about a player, about a team, and I'm wondering how comfortable you guys are with it, because I'm used to Barkley. Barkley is the best. He is willing to say things other people aren't willing to say. But if someone said that to my face and I was as competitive as a professional athlete, they'd be fighting words like that. You're telling me I'm a coward, that either I'm dumb or I'm a coward. I'm not tough enough. Like, what are you saying about you're saying that I'm not smart enough or tough enough mentally to handle winning in the NBA?
They're 37-12. They're 22-3 at home. They lost last night to the Lakers, as you pointed out, without LeBron James, though, without Anthony Davis.
Oh, it's
That's
terrible.
a bad loss
but I'm okay.
But that's an odd reaction to have after that
It
loss.
is a terrible loss. There's no disputing that it's a terrible loss, but does anyone in here object to the idea of that as criticism? Because
no, I object to your objection, seemingly. That's why you pay Charles Barkley. You pay analysts that have been in those spots to give their opinions. You can agree with them or not. Jason Tatum has done weird disappearing acts in the past, and we've tried to piece together why he does that. He also puts on a Kobe armband and goes out and wins a Game 7. So he's an interesting case study, and if Charles wants to formulate a hypothesis as to why this is, I don't think challenging Jason Tatum to be tougher in spots is all that offensive. I really don't.
But have you ever thought of the Celtics and said, this Celtics team, and said to yourself, they're mentally
Often.
weak? Really?
Often.
All right, Drew Holiday is mentally weak.
He won a title.
I mean, you're saying this like
Porzingis is physically weak.
Yeah. Oftentimes in this core of Brown and Tatum,
right,
they are certainly more talented than the Miami Heat, and yet the Miami Heat, outside of one Game 7 where Max Strus wasn't out of bounds, have gotten the better of them.
I object to your objection of Dan's objection because I think this is why we listen to Dan, right? He's going to have a contrary opinion to people like Charles Barkley and call them out.
I
object to your objection of my objection of Dan's objection to Charles Barkley's objection, because all of this is subjective.
You're all
object
overruled.
to your objection of my objection of your objection of Dan's objection
Sustained,
of Charles Barkley's
all of you.
objection. And I object to you, just in general.
Lucy, I wanted to bring you in here on what happened with the David Pollock deleted tweet. He has deleted the tweet, and this has been interesting to watch, Stugotz, because what has been college football's most popular show for a really long time, Game Day, an atmosphere unlike most, pioneering television show. Pollock was at the center of it for a long time, and a lot of people objected to Pollock being replaced by Pat McAfee because it disrupted the familiarity of what Saturday mornings felt like. And now David Pollock has gotten into politics. He has done a couple of times now. He is putting up the same picture, demanding that we end wokeness. Was this on display anywhere during his time on that set? Like, was there a disguise? Was he not talking about this stuff on air or off air? Did anyone know what his politics were?
I did not
Politics?
know. I feel like that's been a lot of the
Chris, go sit in the penalty
discourse
box.
I've seen on like Twitter today, which has been by Chris. It's been all about just, was David like this when we were at ESPN? It didn't really feel like he ever had this sort of like reputation with him. I mean, like maybe you could have guessed or anything, but like he was never very openly doing stuff like this or tweeting out this weird graphic that, one, very heavily edited. His skin is not that clear, and he's got this
Are you
weird.
saying he face-tuned it, Lucy?
He face-tuned the hell out of that photo. It feels like was him leaving ESPN what triggered this, or has he been doing this the entire time? I don't know, but man has gone off the deep end.
Why is he deleting the tweets?
Well, I'm assuming he decided to tweet an in wokeness or like, I don't want to call it a meme, but picture the first day of Black History Month. The response probably wasn't very positive.
Yeah, I think it's the timing of it, because Pollock has waded into those waters before. This isn't the first time he's
wait,
trotted out a fake and wokeness
but you're
sign.
saying he's deleting it not because he takes any of it back. He just doesn't like doing it on the first day of Black
Bad
History
timing,
Month. I mean,
yes.
Bad
He's
optics.
going to wait till Women's History Month in March. That's just part of the plan. I got my question about all of this is like, is he just like, is he programming his own stuff? Is there like some sort of organization behind all of this? Like, who's making the meme?
He's a GOP operative.
I just am very, very confused, like Lucy. Like, why did this all start now? I've talked to some people who are like, yeah, I'm not surprised that this is what he thinks about, trans people or any sort of like quote unquote woke topics that are in the news, but it is very like kind of out of left field. I've just been following him on Twitter, and all he's talked about from my point of view is football for the last few years. Although he has tweeted a lot of like Christian stuff, I don't necessarily like think that is a bad thing. So I didn't see it really coming, but some people did.
The last time he did this, he was like adding Joe Rogan, and it was just like it was kind of sad. The guy just went through an entire college football season cycle without being hired by any of the competitors, and now in that game there are competitors out there, and he wasn't considered a desirable asset, so this is the next move.
End wokeness is often being supported or rationalized by a couple of camps, right? It's either devoutly religious and an attack on the moralities of this country, or it's protect the kids, right? Those are the two chief places where end wokeness is most supported by whatever the rationalizations are, whether they are, I don't want my children to have this future in Sodom and Gomorrah.
It's been twisted. Woke was originally created by minorities to essentially highlight what has happened. The white GOP side co-opting a phrase the same way that they co-opted fake news, because fake news didn't mean originally what Donald Trump has made it turn out to be. And now woke is just this blanket that is there for disenfranchised white people to throw over a bunch of stuff.
Okay, so there is the grievance of white people. There is the anger of white people, but I see it often framed. When you go through the roots of some of this, I often see it framed with either religion, just my morality is better than your morality. You are immoral for being liberal.
The seeds of it was certainly BLM.
And then beyond that, there's a lot of, and see, everyone can agree with this part. Everyone can agree, yes, protect the children. Absolutely, protect the children. But there, a lot is getting filed under, if you're anti-gay, the idea of grooming, anti-trans, the idea of grooming, that children have to be protected from these things, from liberal parents.
Yeah, people care about that until they don't.
David Pollock's first tweet using this horrible Facetuned image was about trans athletes in sports. This one was more about religion. Maybe another reason he deleted the tweet was the first response. They kind of bodied him, and they were like, you do realize Jesus was the most woke person of all time. And David Pollock's been real quiet since.
After 3 days.
I wanted Stugotz to segue just the general poison that is in the atmosphere everywhere to your boy George R.R. Martin.
Yes.
He is
seeing him soon. Sphere, Vegas.
He is saying the following, the creator of Game of Thrones, he is saying that social media is ruled by anti-fans. I remember, I think it was the movie Chasing Amy. Kevin Smith threw in a little monologue for Ben Affleck where he talked about what movies and I think the internet are for, which is just to complain about movies, to argue about movies. And George R.R. Martin, who made 7 seasons of amazing television and an 8th season that had a Starbucks cup in it, he says in books, in films and television shows, though even there, toxicity is growing. It used to be fun talking about our favorite books and films and having spirited debates with fans who saw things different. But somehow,
Sorry, I used the wrong keyboard. What a hilarious song.
At least he wasn't.
what were you trying to do?
I was searching for lyrics of toxicity to just kind of embed into what you were doing, and I hit a hilarious song.
Do you want me to wait for you to find the song that you were looking for?
No, I've ruined the show enough today.
I thought Yeti was about to start singing.
Were you trying to listen to it to yourself first? Did
No.
you have the pod
I
open?
was trying to search the browser, but I hit the space bar on the wrong keyboard, and that was the last song that I played.
Do you want me to read
Properly
with
embarrassed.
that as the music?
Under that song.
Yes, go ahead.
yes.
Go ahead and do it
It's
again.
a little tricky with the podcast, but sure.
Dan, I'll stop you right there. George R. R. Martin's right. Everyone loves to be a hater.
Are we going to debut your song with Yeti today?
It's on Spotify, I believe, if people want to listen. I heard you played a clip yesterday.
Yes.
I thought everyone was going to be mean after, and they weren't, so that was good.
They were nice.
Truly astonishing voices.
Only because of Lucy.
for sports media.
We will do this
proud of you.
next segment, but go ahead and put in books, in films, and television shows, though even there, toxicity is growing. It used to be fun talking about our favorite books and films and having spirited debates with fans who saw things different. But somehow, in this age of social media, it is no longer enough to say, I did not like book X or film Y, and here's why. You know what? I'd rather dance than talk about toxicity.
Going to Vegas, Dano.
I've
He's going to be exhausted. Chris Cody yesterday power walked for 8 minutes in the studio and was soon thereafter winded. And now he has been dancing throughout the YouTube break with Amin, who I did not know was still in town.
He's always in town.
In the street on the median. We will all be in Las Vegas next week. Everyone's excited about this, correct? Everyone's excited about it's going to be a great deal of work. Mike, you don't look terribly excited.
No, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled.
You don't
My
look,
voice gave out.
You don't look terribly excited because
thrilled.
it is a lot of work to move our entire outfit to Las Vegas. But everyone's moving, and Stugotz has top 5 Radio Row tips. I don't know what we're going to get from Stugotz. He's promised a lot. He's promised to give us a whole bunch of effort and maximum Stugotz while we're in Las Vegas. He's getting out there when? You're getting out there early. You're going to be on Radio Row. Chris Russo taught you got to get out there Monday. You got to be there Monday.
I'm getting there tomorrow. Chris Russo did tell me once, we sat down, we talked for a little bit. He said, if you're not out here covering the Super Bowl on Radio Row on Monday, you're not covering the Super Bowl. That's what he said to me. And he's right. I mean,
Is he going to be there on Monday?
he'll be...
What have you asked?
Will he be there
What
on
have
Monday?
you asked?
He's already there.
Borderline penalty box.
Can you make an intro?
I thought that the Flanagan's Cup being eaten by your dog was the most blasphemy we were going to see today. But
She
didn't eat
didn't
it?
eat it. She
Yeah.
chewed it. I took it away. Obviously, I'm a good dog mom. I don't let my dog eat things that are going to hurt her tummy, so I took it away.
But you ruined the best cup that we have around here.
I agree with that statement.
Where will we ever find another?
This was the special Marlins one, which, by the way, should have been teal. Sorry, Flanagan's. Should have been teal.
Can't be teal. Flanagan's
They do
has
the
gotta
pink cups
be-
for October. They're going to do a teal cup for the Marlins. Just saying. If I were their marketing director, I would have put it in teal.
Yeah, well, if I were their marketing director, I'd make them wear teal all the time.
I wouldn't want a teal cup. Would you, Mike?
I would want anything with Big Papa Joe on it.
Okay.
Are you ready for top 5 tips? These are Stugotz. This is learned over a lifetime.
Top 5 keys to Radio Row,
of
Dano.
dominating
Yes.
Radio Row. Now,
Yes.
you are still promising us, but I am not optimistic, that you are going to sell Greg Cody's book with Flava Flav
Yes.
on Radio Row.
Uh-huh. Yep, we're working it out.
Okay?
Yes.
It's a great hype, man.
We're going to walk Greg through Radio Row. We're
What
gonna
a
have him-
creative logjam God Bless Football has. Sell Greg Cody's book with Flava Flav. Interview Don Shula from the dead.
I've been invited to 2 places, 2 houses to stay at in Vegas, Flavor Flav's and Austin Eckler. I won't go to one of them. I mean,
You mentioned Shula here. Did you see, Stugotz, by the way, that the Dolphins turned down for their defensive coordinator position the grandson of Don Shula, Chris Shula? The Dolphins rejected the Shula name for defensive coordinator to replace Fangs.
I mean, they should. I mean, what has Chris Shula been doing?
I mean, that name, you can't.
Right.
I think he's McVay adjacent.
You're saying if you're a Shula, you get hired?
By the
That's
Dolphins?
usually how the NFL
mean,
works.
really?
Yeah.
Really?
Usually how the NFL works. Is
I know, but
that
Shula's-
last name means you're good.
He's been gone for a while now.
Don? I mean, he's going to be joining God Bless Football in a couple of weeks.
He will, yes, from the dead. But does he coach?
Yes, he's been on the Rams staff for like 5 years.
Really?
No,
Ridiculous question you just asked out loud.
No, Stugotz, oddly, he was working. He was
works in
working
private
in
equity.
produce. No, he was in produce at Whole Foods, and they just said,
A venture capitalist
your name is.
looking for a change of scenery.
I mean, climb the ladder.
Did you really just ask the question?
intern?
Did
I mean-
the Dolphins interview for defensive coordinator somebody who was in football?
I mean, what did he do to deserve, besides having the last name of Shula, what has he done to deserve that interview?
He's evidently worked in football on the defensive side of the ball. Okay, thanks for listening to my answer.
If I'm the younger Shula, though, I'm staying with the Rams. I'm the Rams D coordinator now. I'm not just. I know it's a name and all that.
You're questioning his bona fides when he just got a D coordinator job.
Yes, I am.
But it's all who you know.
He's a little young.
He works hard.
Are you anti all Nepo-babies
Lot to
or
live
just
up to.
this one weirdly?
Just this one.
All right, well, you should ask Don about it.
I got hit yesterday with Nepo-baby. And I'm like, what?
Nah, you can't. If your parents are political exiles, you can't be hit with that. Unless it's like a royal family that's been exiled.
Someone called me a Nepo baby the other day, and they were like, "We know your dad's an executive here," and he's not. I was like, "Do I respond to this one?" But I've been called a Nepo baby. My dad works for Progressive Insurance.
Lucy, that has also happened to me. I've been accused of being John Skipper's daughter before. That's just a sexism thing.
Okay, but why am I being called the Nepo baby?
Because your dad's more famous.
Yeah.
Than
Your dad is on television.
Why am I being called?
Yeah.
That's right. Top 5 tips and keys to Radio Row, according to Stugotz, who doesn't know that Chris Shula was in football for the last 9 years.
Jules.
God bless football. It's shoes. God bless
Cobbler.
God bless football had a bunch of guests this week. A.J. Brown was on. Who else? It just debuted today, correct?
Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Austin Eckler, Mike Golick. We had Flavor Flav earlier this week. We had Colleen Wolfe as well. Chris Cody sat in for a bit. We had a fun episode this week.
So you are going to unleash how many God bless footballs next week as we unleash the Stugotz upon Radio Row?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. For me, Radio Row is home. It's where I'm most comfortable. It's the 1 year on the calendar I look most forward to. So I'm really
The
excited.
1 year on the calendar.
It is. Well, in terms of, sporting events and us covering them.
Yeah, well, Tahoe, you say the same thing about.
Yeah, I do. Same thing with Augusta. But this is it. This is Radio Row. This is where everything's happening. I get to see some friends whose names I don't know. I mean, it's great.
Any OLIs? Or are you going right to the
I just
good
got
stuff?
a straight 5.
All right, number 5, keys. Write them down, Lucy. It's important that you learn this going in.
Don't blink. Let me tell you, your time is precious at Radio Row, and I can tell you who's not blinking. Jim Rome's producer. I can tell you who else is not blinking. Christopher Mad Dog Russo and his producer. They don't blink. You can't blink. You blink, you miss a guest.
Number 4. Number 4.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, Dano. You don't want to come out of the gates Monday with too many guests. Sometimes you just sit there. You sit there and you let things happen.
Way to rationalize nobody being there on Monday.
And you don't leave, because here's what happens if you just, play the long game. Marathon, not a sprint. You're sitting there. Radio Row has cleared out. All the hosts have gone home. They're going to the parties. They're doing this. They're doing that. And all of a sudden, Troy Aikman, he left some sort of planner that he has back at Radio Row, and he walks in. You couldn't get him 4 hours ago, but now it's just you and Troy on Radio Row. You ask him, he does it, 15 minutes, boom. Play the long game, Dan. I'm telling you, that's how you get Merrill Haji.
Number 3.
Lay of the land. I am telling all you right now, I'm going out there tomorrow. And the reason I'm going out there is I like to see Radio Row before anyone else does. I like to know where Gio and Boomer are sitting before Gio and Boomer know where they're sitting. You need to get a lay of the land, know where the tables are at, know who's who, where they're going to be. That way you can formulate a plan. Get a lay of the land.
Know where the food is.
Yeah.
The
coffee.
bathrooms. All important. I should tell the audience, by the way, We are very moved by the number of people who have RSVP'd, and next week is going to be a different week in our schedule. All of it, everything we're doing next week is going to feel a little bit different because we're moving the show out there.
And it's going to be 40 degrees.
In segments. I was encouraged by the recent forecast. The 7-day forecast, much better than the 14-day forecast.
It was updated.
Yeah,
You're right.
yes.
I saw.
Less
It's gotten
cold.
what? I've seen the opposite.
Less cold, less windy, less rainy, all in the last 7 days. I don't know if you trust the 7-day forecast, but it's far better than the 14-day forecast. But just so that you know, you can still get in. And Thursday right now, Friday is just everyone is getting there for the weekend, and it's going to be an insanity. Thursday is a better bet for you if you want to get at least reasonably close to what it is that we're doing.
Keep in mind, these are RSVPs, and everyone's RSVP'd to a party that they haven't shown up on, but we are still really expecting a lot of people there. Don't sleep on Thursday. Thursday is a real special day. We've got something really special cooking.
Oh.
There is a photo op that is once in a lifetime that I hope comes together.
Wow.
I got that text last night. My response was only, holy shit, what a great picture that would be. Number 2.
Bend, don't break. You have to be flexible, Dan, on Radio Row. If you make the mistake, okay, of having Steak Shapiro on your show when there are a million guests out there, if you make the mistake of, Steak's on, and then all of a sudden Mark Schlereth is on Steak, bend, don't break. Be flexible. If there's a big guest, he comes to the table, you already have 2 guests there, throw a third one into the mix, okay? You tell your host to figure it out. That's it.
There's no group of more flexible people than sports writers at the Super Bowl, too. Good advice.
Len Pasquarelli can definitely touch his toes.
So can Stu.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Can Len Pasquarelli touch his toes? Number 1.
Finger guns.
It seemed like that was the place for it.
Pause,
It seemed like that was the place for it.
Finger guns, all right.
It had a question mark on it. He's reading poorly. It had
Finger guns, a point
question
to the
mark.
finger, a nod, and a wink, Dan. Moving and shaking, that's what Radio Row is all about. You have to move through Radio Row. You don't stop. Someone's going to yell, hey, Stugotz. I'll yell back, nothing. You know what I give them? I give them a finger gun. I give them a wink. I give them a nod. I have no idea who they are. I just keep it moving, okay? That is the important part about Radio Row. You stop, you shake hands, you have a conversation with an old friend whose name you do not know, you are making a big mistake. Why? Because all of a sudden, Joe Montana and Roger Craig walk in. I mean,
Here's Michael Bublé talking about being on mushrooms at the NHL All-Star festivities.
Matt, I'm in more than one hockey league. That's whole. So, in the LHL, which I'm in with you, I happen to be in 5th place. Even though I had no first pick even. I didn't even have a first rounder. And I still did what I had to do because of my genius. Second, I am first place in the FHL, other hockey, fantasy hockey league. Third, my buddy told me this is just a microdose of mushrooms, and he was lying. So, I'll be honest, I thought I was in Blades of Glory for most of the time that I was out there, until it sort of settled down, and then I realized, holy shit, I'm at the NHL All-Star game.
It just occurs to me that
He's microdosing while in the press conference, yammering and rambling while next to a confused Will Arnett.
We've all been there.
I'm pissed off he got to do that bit before Stu hit Radio Row on Monday.
I also thought that this was a microdose of caffeine, and it was not. This was a full-blown dose of caffeine, okay? Do you guys want to do another up 1 minute?